Welcome to Speak Peak English. Today, Ellie will join us to share her bad day experience, along with some new vocabulary. It's a perfect opportunity to improve and practice your listening and speaking skills. Let's begin. Listen carefully. My bad day. My name is Ellie, and I want to tell you about one of the worst days of my life. In the 9th grade, I had just won a scholarship to attend the most prestigious high school in the city. This school was usually only for the elite, but they offered scholarships to 3 students from other schools, and this time I was one of them. I was excited but also very nervous about my first day. As I walked into the school corridor, feeling both thrilled and anxious, I was suddenly drenched with a full bucket of water from head to toe. I stood there, shocked and dripping, as a wealthy girl burst out laughing in front of me. Her name was Sophia. She was from the most upper elite family in the city, the only daughter, and no one dared to stand against her, not even the school authorities. She bent her hand slightly and said, "Welcome." After that, Sophia ordered me to run 10 laps around the playground as a form of welcome. Not knowing who she was, I simply refused and said, "I'm not interested in saying welcome." That made Sophia furious. She was used to everyone obeying her, and she couldn't believe I had just said no. The rest of the day was filled with more encounters, each more ridiculous than the last. In class, Sophia made snide remarks and tried to embarrass me, but I always had a witty comeback. At one point, she put a whoopee cushion on my chair. As soon as I sat down, the loud, farting noise echoed through the classroom. Everyone burst out laughing, but I just stood up, took a bow, and said, thank you. I'll be here all week." During lunch, things got even crazier. Sophia and her friends took my seat, so I found another table. Not to be outdone, they followed me, pretending to be my adoring fans, asking for autographs and selfies. Then they took my lunch and threw it in the trash. I shrugged and pulled out a spare sandwich from my bag. "Always come prepared," I said with a grin. Sophia's jaw dropped. In the hallway, Sophia and her gang planted fake spiders in my locker. When I opened it and saw the spiders, I screamed, just a little, then burst out laughing. "Nice try, but I'm not scared of spiders," I said, tossing them back at Sophia. She yelped and dodged them, clearly annoyed that her prank hadn't worked as planned. Later, when I tried to find a quiet corner to study, they followed me, making loud, rude comments. Sophia tried to balance a bucket of confetti on the door, so it would fall on me. I spotted it just in time and carefully opened the door, letting the confetti spill harmlessly onto the floor. I picked up a handful and threw it back at them. "Looks like you guys are ready for a party," I teased. Sophia was relentless, but I refused to back down. In gym class, she switched my sneakers with ones 2 sizes too small. I squeezed my feet into them and ran the laps anyway, hobbling but smiling the whole time. Sophia watched, frustrated. Why won't this girl give up? I heard her mutter to her friends. The final prank of the day came when Sophia filled my backpack with marbles. As I walked down the hallway, the marbles started falling out, clattering loudly on the floor. Everyone stared as I tried to gather them up. I just laughed, scooping up the marbles and handing them to Sophia. "Here, you dropped these," I said, winking. Sophia was puzzled. She couldn't understand why her pranks didn't break me like they did everyone else. On my side, I felt miserable, but I didn't want to give up. I stayed calm and didn't show them that their bullying was affecting me. I think that confused Sophia. She wasn't used to people standing up to her, especially not someone from outside her elite circle. A few days passed, and it started to feel like I was living in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Sophia would pull some mean prank, and I would just brush it off. She would say something nasty, and I would calmly reply without losing my temper. Eventually, something unexpected happened. Sophia began to see me differently. She realized I wasn't afraid of her, and that I didn't care about her wealth or status. One day, she approached me, not with a mean prank or a rude comment, but with a genuine smile. We started talking, and to my surprise, we found we had a lot in common. Slowly, Sophia and I became friends. She admired my courage and resilience, and for the first time in her life, she found a friend who wasn't after her wealth. From that day on, things changed at school. Now, if anyone tried to bully me, they had to face Sophia. She would give them a stern talking to, and then say, "Only I have the right to bully Ellie. No one else is allowed." Yes, the girl who once made my life miserable became my best friend. Sophia and I have been inseparable since then. I realized that behind her tough exterior was a girl who just wanted a real friend. And Sophia found her true identity, not as the rich, untouchable girl, but as a true, kind-hearted friend. So, that's my story. My bully became my best friend, and we both learned that true friendship comes from understanding and respect, not from wealth or power. After listening to Ellie talk about her bad day experience, I'd also love to hear about you. Have you ever had any bad experiences in your life that turned into a good coincidence? I'm eagerly waiting for your comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's also learn some new words from this story to improve our vocabulary. It's time for word exploration. 1. Prestigious. Definition: having a high status and respect esteemed. Example from the story: I had just won a scholarship to attend the most prestigious high school in the city. Example from real life: Harvard University is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. 2. Bully. Definition: a person who uses strength or influence to harm or intimidate those who are weaker. Example from the story: now, if anyone tries to bully Ellie again, that person should face Sophia. Example from real life: the school has a zero-tolerance policy against bullies who pick on other students. 3. Drenched. Definition: soaked or covered with liquid, typically water. Example from the story: as I walked into the school corridor, feeling both thrilled and anxious, I was suddenly drenched with a full bucket of water from head to toe. Example from real life: after the sudden downpour, I was completely drenched and had to change my clothes. 4. Snide. Definition: derogatory or mocking in an indirect way. Example from the story: in class, Sophia made snide remarks and tried to embarrass me. Example from real life: he made a snide comment about her new haircut, which hurt her feelings. 5. Elite. Definition: a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. Example from the story: she was from the most upper elite family in the city, the only daughter, and no one dared to stand against her. Example from real life: the Olympic athletes represent the elite of the sports world. Now, we've reached the final round. Let's practice both listening and speaking skills together with a repeat after me session. Ready? Let's begin. My bad day. My name is Ellie, and I want to tell you about one of the worst days of my life. In the ninth grade, I had just won a scholarship to attend the most prestigious high school in the city. This school was usually only for the elite, but they offered scholarships to 3 students from other schools, and this time I was one of them. I was excited but also very nervous about my first day. As I walked into the school corridor, feeling both thrilled and anxious, I was suddenly drenched with a full bucket of water from head to toe. I stood there, shocked and dripping, as a wealthy girl burst out laughing in front of me. Her name was Sophia. She was from the most upper elite family in the city, the only daughter, and no one dared to stand against her, not even the school authorities. She bent her hand slightly and said, "Welcome." After that, Sophia ordered me to run 10 laps around the playground as a form of welcome. Not knowing who she was, I simply refused and said, "I'm not interested in saying welcome." That made Sophia furious. She was used to everyone obeying her, and she couldn't believe I had just said no. The rest of the day was filled with more encounters, each more ridiculous than the last. In class, Sophia made snide remarks and tried to embarrass me, but I always had a witty comeback. At one point, she put a whoopee cushion on my chair. As soon as I sat down, the loud, farting noise echoed through the classroom. Everyone burst out laughing, but I just stood up, took a bow, and said, "Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week." During lunch, things got even crazier. Sophia and her friends took my seat, so I found another table. Not to be outdone, they followed me, pretending to be my adoring fans, asking for autographs and selfies. Then they took my lunch and threw it in the trash. I shrugged and pulled out a spare sandwich from my bag. Always come prepared, I said with a grin. Sophia's jaw dropped. In the hallway, Sophia and her gang planted fake spiders in my locker. When I opened it and saw the spiders, I screamed, just a little, then burst out laughing. Nice try, but I'm not scared of spiders, I said, tossing them back at Sophia. She yelped and dodged them, clearly annoyed that her prank hadn't worked as planned. Later, when I tried to find a quiet corner to study, they followed me, making loud, rude comments. Sophia tried to balance a bucket of confetti on the door, so it would fall on me. I spotted it just in time and carefully opened the door, letting the confetti spill harmlessly onto the floor. I picked up a handful and threw it back at them. "Looks like you guys are ready for a party," I teased. Sophia was relentless, but I refused to back down. In gym class, she switched my sneakers with ones 2 sizes too small. I squeezed my feet into them and ran the laps anyway, hobbling but smiling the whole time. Sophia watched, frustrated. Why won't this girl give up? I heard her mutter to her friends. The final prank of the day came when Sophia filled my backpack with marbles. As I walked down the hallway, the marbles started falling out, clattering loudly on the floor. Everyone stared as I tried to gather them up. I just laughed, scooping up the marbles and handing them to Sophia. "Here, you dropped these," I said, winking. Sophia was puzzled. She couldn't understand why her pranks didn't break me like they did everyone else. On my side, I felt miserable, but I didn't want to give up. I stayed calm and didn't show them that their bullying was affecting me. I think that confused Sophia. She wasn't used to people standing up to her, especially not someone from outside her elite circle. A few days passed, and it started to feel like I was living in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Sophia would pull some mean prank, and I would just brush it off. She would say something nasty, and I would calmly reply without losing my temper. Eventually, something unexpected happened. Sophia began to see me differently. She realized I wasn't afraid of her and that I didn't care about her wealth or status. One day, she approached me, not with a mean prank or a rude comment, but with a genuine smile. We started talking, and to my surprise, we found we had a lot in common. Slowly, Sophia and I became friends. She admired my courage and resilience, and for the first time in her life, she found a friend who wasn't after her wealth. From that day on, things changed at school. Now, if anyone tried to bully me, they had to face Sophia. She would give them a stern talking to, and then say, "Only I have the right to bully Ellie. No one else is allowed." Yes, the girl who once made my life miserable became my best friend. Sophia and I have been inseparable since then. I realized that behind her tough exterior was a girl who just wanted a real friend. And Sophia found her true identity, not as the rich, untouchable girl, but as a true, kind-hearted friend. So, that's my story. My bully became my best friend, and we both learned that true friendship comes from understanding and respect, not from wealth or power. That concludes today's lesson. I hope you've gained some new and valuable knowledge from Ellie's story about her bad day. If you enjoyed this session, please consider liking and subscribing for more. Remember, practice makes perfect, so keep practicing. Until next time, take care.